Hello everyone, welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. Before we dive into tonight's story, make sure you're subscribed, hit like, and share this video with fellow fans who live for star-studded nights and unforgettable moments. Your support keeps this channel thriving and brings you closer to the magic of Turkish showbiz. Now, let me take you into an evening that felt like a scene written just for two icons. An award gala glittering in Istanbul where Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç turned anticipation into electricity and the red carpet into a memory everyone wanted to keep. The ceremony unfolded inside a lavish venue washed in warm light, blooming with elegant floral arrangements, and humming with the presence of top actors, directors, and digital creators. It was one of those nights where every seat carried a story, every whisper hinted at a surprise, and every camera waited for a moment that could run wild online. Yet nothing raised the temperature like the confirmation that Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç would be arriving together as honored guests. The guest list was already a constellation, but their names were the ones people circled, the ones that made stylists fuss and fans camp outside the entrance rails well before dusk. For days, the question wasn't if they would come, it was how they would arrive, what they would wear, how they would look at each other, whether they would share a word about the future. Threads popped up across platforms, speculation piling on speculation. Would their styles echo each other? Would they step into the hall arm in arm? Would this be a reunion that teased something more? The talk simmered until showtime drew near and the red carpet became a space charged with expectation. Photographers jostled for the perfect angle, reporters rehearsed their quickest questions, and fans called out in bursts of excitement each time a car slowed at the entrance. Then the black luxury car rolled up, quiet but commanding, and the world in front of the venue shifted. You could feel it from the hush that fell for a heartbeat, the kind of hush that says everyone is bracing for a moment. The door opened and Elçin stepped out first. Her look was a study in radiance. A gown that moved like water, minimal yet exquisitely crafted, with soft tones that kissed the light and matched her luminous skin. The styling was thoughtful without being showy. Delicate jewelry, a graceful silhouette, the kind of elegance that says confidence louder than any spotlight. She carried herself with that calm poise she's known for, meeting the crowd with a warm smile that made the distance between the carpet and the barricades feel smaller. Right behind her, Barış emerged in a perfectly tailored suit that felt both modern and timeless. The cut was sharp, the lines clean, and the effect immediate, charisma grounded in restraint. He greeted the photographers with a nod and an easy grin, the kind of presence that doesn't need to try to be felt. When the two of them stood side by side, it was like someone had snapped the final piece into place. The flashes accelerated, the noise rose, and for a few minutes the entrance belonged to them and them alone. They didn't rush their moment. Elçin adjusted her gown with a gentle touch, Barış offered his arm without fanfare. They exchanged a few words we couldn't quite hear but could absolutely feel, the quick lean in to speak over the crowd, the knowing glance, the synchronized turn toward the cameras as if they'd rehearsed it but hadn't needed to. It was chemistry that wasn't loud. It was beautifully, unmistakably present. Fans pressed closer against the barriers, calling their names, heartfelt and hopeful. Elçin waved with a kindness that made people feel seen. Barış mirrored that energy, stepping closer to thank a section of the crowd and flashing that warm greeting that never reads as anything but genuine. Inside the hall, the ripple effect continued. You could watch heads turn as they moved through the lobby, old friends reaching out for hugs, colleagues offering compliments that sounded more like admiration than the polite chatter of a public event. The organizers had saved them seats near the stage, part honor, part smart production choice, because the cameras knew the audience would want to catch their reactions. And yes, those cameras found them. When a beloved actor took the stage, Elçin clapped with that luminous smile of hers, the pride in her expression unguarded. When a newcomer gave a heartfelt speech, Barış listened with the focus he often brings to his roles, nodding at the right moments, visibly moved by the sincerity in the words. And then came the first peak of the night. They were called to the stage to present a major award. The audience applauded in a way that felt less like noise and more like a wave. Rising, rushing, carrying them forward. On stage, their rhythm was easy. Elçin took the lead on the first lines, poised and clear, bringing the kind of warmth that makes a formal script feel personal. Barış followed with a rich, confident tone that grounded the moment. They didn't overplay it, they didn't need to. The timing, the body language, the small glances, all of it hinted at a partnership that knows how to breathe together. You could almost hear fans whispering to themselves across the hall, imagine them sharing the screen again. After handing off the trophy, they disappeared into the wings and down the steps into the busy backstage corridor. Journalists were waiting, questions ready, cameras already rolling. In those brief, controlled minutes, they gave answers that managed to be gracious without giving too much away, a balancing act both of them have mastered. Elçin shared how thrilled she was to celebrate a year packed with bold stories and fresh voices, adding that nights like this remind her why audiences fall in love with Turkish productions again and again. Barış spoke about collaboration and the quiet heroism of crews who build worlds behind the scenes, emphasizing that every performance is the tip of a very large, hard-working iceberg. Then came the question that had been buzzing all evening: would they be working together soon? They exchanged a quick glance, the kind of glance that fuels 1,000 timelines, smiled, and promised that news would come when the time was right. No spoilers, just a spark tossed into a room already full of kindling. The internet did the rest. Back in the hall, between awards and performances, they found small windows to connect with the people who waited for them. During commercial breaks, they moved along the sides of the seating area, where fans had congregated with programs and phones at the ready. Elçin posed for photos, listening with real attention to the quick, emotional words people offered her. "You inspired me. I watched your show with my mother. Your character helped me through a rough time." She gave each person just enough focus to turn a fleeting moment into something they'll remember. Barış matched that feeling with his own understated warmth, giving firm handshakes, asking a young fan what she wanted to study, thanking another for coming such a long distance. Those small gestures landed like gifts. The show rolled forward, live music, heartfelt speeches, a few surprise winners whose names launched little storms of excitement. And still, no matter what came next, the attention kept drifting back to them. Not because they were loud or demanding it, but because their presence brought a certain quiet glow to everything. When the cameras cut to their table, you could see the comfort in the way they sat, shoulders angled just so, listening, responding, sharing reactions the way old collaborators and friends do. It didn't feel staged, it felt lived in. As the evening drew to a close, there was one last tableau waiting: the exit. The lobby filled with the hushed chaos of post-show energy, the doorways framing departing guests like moving portraits. When Elçin and Barış stepped back into view, the flashes found them again as if guided by instinct. Elçin lifted the hem of her dress slightly to navigate the steps, graceful even in that small practicality. Barış moved closer, offering steadying support with an unspoken promise to protect her from the tight press of the crowd. It was a simple moment, but it captured something essential: courtesy, care, a shared understanding of what it means to be seen and still be yourself. The cameras loved it because people loved it. Once they were in the car, the night didn't end. It merely shifted platforms. Within minutes, social media glowed with photos of their entrance and clips of their stage moment. The backstage glance, the one after the question about a future project, took on a life of its own. Fans stitched together timelines, ran slow-motion analyses, and captioned screenshots with lines that floated between nostalgia and hope. Comment sections filled with declarations that they were the most elegant duo of the evening, that their harmony hadn't faded, that maybe, just maybe, something special was on the horizon again. Industry insiders praised the event itself, the scale of the celebration and the diversity of the winners, but in the same breath they acknowledged what everyone already knew: the evening's pulse quickened when Elçin and Barış walked in. Their composure, the measured way they framed their words, the warmth they extended to fans, the synergy that doesn't need to shout to be heard, all of it made the gala feel less like an awards show and more like a story you wanted to follow. By morning, the numbers told their own truth. Red carpet photos trended long after the lights went dark. Clips of their presentation soared, with comments marveling at how seamlessly they passed the moment back and forth. Threads speculating about their next collaboration pulled in voices from every corner of their fandom. The phrase, reunion energy, kept appearing under posts that captured their side-by-side stance, the matched focus in their eyes, the quiet delight in their smiles. What made the night so magnetic wasn't just the promise of what could come next. It was the reminder of what they already are together, two artists who know how to command a room without crowding it, who know how to meet the moment with grace, who elevate each other simply by sharing the frame. The gala had winners and show-stopping performances and speeches that made people tear up. And yet, ask anyone who was there what they'll remember, and you'll hear about the way the energy shifted the second that car door opened and Elçin stepped out, about the way the air held its breath when Barış joined her, about how the night felt different after that. So if you felt a spark while watching the clips, you weren't imagining it. Something about their presence stitched the evening together. Maybe it was the unforced harmony, the elegant restraint, or the way they kept redirecting the spotlight to others and still somehow glowed brighter. Maybe it was all of it, the total picture of two stars who don't just show up, they show what showing up can look like. And that is how a glittering award ceremony in Istanbul became more than a list of winners. It became a stage that framed Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç in a way that reminded fans why they fell for this duo in the first place. Not because of noise, but because of nuance. Not because of a grand announcement, but because of a promise written in how they move, how they listen, how they share a moment without needing to claim it. That's the kind of magic that can't be choreographed, and it's exactly the kind audiences can't stop watching. Thank you for spending this evening with Secrets Behind the Stars. If you want more nights like this, more detail, more behind-the-scenes touches, more stories that bring you closer to the light, hit subscribe, like this video, and share it with the friends who replay red carpet clips the way other people replay songs. Stay close, because the moment they share news about what's next, you know we'll be here to unpack it with you.